it's like they need to practice some more. They got to practice on the low-hanging fruit, because the low-hanging fruit is going to offer them unlimited validation. Unlimited validation is what the low-hanging fruit will give them. Welcome back, warriors. My name is Kira, and this is Psychopath Exposure. Want to wish you guys a very happy Thanksgiving. Hope you spend a great time with your loved ones and your family, and you're safe and narc-free. But if you're not, this video might be for you. So why don't we kickstart the video with a highlighted comment from Hippie Cow Girl. They go to the lower hanging fruit because they know you've seen who they really are. And it makes them aware of what horrible humans they are. So they pick someone they can feel superior to in order to build back up their fantasy about themselves. Isn't that true, ladies and gentlemen? When the narcissist is done with you, why is it that they go after the lowest hanging fruit in the bunch, huh? That's been my experience for sure in my situations, and in many of yours too. You see, when you finally discover what these people are, and you shame them for it, you strip them naked of their facade, pretty much, because that's what it feels like to a narcissist once they've been exposed and they know that you know. They feel naked, right? Maybe at the beginning they would try to manipulate you with words. They would tease you, dangle, you know, that carrot. They dangle that carrot in front of you. But once you get to the point, once you get to that point of no return, that you've done the work, you've done the research, you fully grasped exactly what you've been dealing with all this time, there ain't no turning back, and the narcissist feels like they've been stripped because they wear a mask. It's like they're wearing a costume. It's like they're a chameleon. They're not who they appear to be on the inside. They're like an alien, right? I'm just romanticizing here, but it's like on the inside, once you see them for what they really are, you see their true forms. It's like they might as well just be running around naked like an alien. There's no need to hide it anymore. I always found it disrespectful when they still try to lie to you, even though you know. I remember being in situations where I was like, hey, I know the truth. I just want to hear you say it. So without giving you too many details, I'm just going to give you the opportunity to reveal the truth right now for me. XYZ is the context. Now you're going to have to fill in the blanks, which I already know. Just want to hear you say it. And I would get maybe like a 90% confession because they knew that I knew, right? Don't fuck with me. But they would still try to lie. And I'm not sure if it was just the pathological lying that's part of the disorder, that they just can't help but just try to weasel their way out of it by just, you know, withholding some sort of information, or hoping that you really don't know and that you're just playing a psychological mindfuck on them. It's like, I don't do that. When I tell you I know, I know. So once they know that you know, those games are over. And then you can finally have as the closest to the most honest conversation you'll ever have with a narcissist will be at that point. And I did have that conversation. It was the last time that I ever spoke to that monster. And she finally confessed everything, right? And I gave her a piece of my mind. And at the end of that conversation, she did try to tell me that she respected me. I told her to go fuck herself. But you know what? To this day, I never, ever heard back. And if you know me, it was just a complete, I mean, I built fortresses around my life, right? There was no way that I was going to allow or entertain any type of contact. And this was before I even knew that I was dealing with a psychopath narcissist, right? This was before all that. All I knew is that she had been an infidel. All I knew is that the cheating and all the lies, that's what I knew, but I didn't know what I was dealing with yet. And yet, it's like I was born with the skill of no contact. It was like nothing, you're getting nothing, right? And she respected me enough not to try to break through that either. And I feel that she knew that I knew. Good. And that's the way it needs to be for everybody, okay? You need to be able to draw that line and just be done with it. No matter what you're going through, no matter the trauma bond you might be going through, no matter how much rage you have to be able to draw that line and say, hey, I cannot continue intaking any more poison. Because that's pretty much what you're doing by chasing them, by stalking their social media, by calling them, by showing up at their house, which is fucking creepy in and of itself, right? But why are you driving by their house to see if they're home after work? Go home, go to CVS, buy yourself something, right? Why are you driving by? Like, what does that do? If their car is home, what, do you feel better? Do you feel better? It's like, they're home. They could be with another woman or another guy. They could be on vacation with someone else. They could be on a cruise. And what? If the car isn't at home, now you have heart palpitations because you think they're with the other person. You think they're with the new supply that they cheated on you with. All you're doing is torturing yourself and continuing to put poison into your system. So you have to draw that line and just make that commitment to yourself. Not to anybody else, but yourself, really. No contact forever. If you have to speak to them, you go through the attorneys if you're getting a divorce. If you have the mutual child custody type of battles and all those things, again, you go through the attorneys until you resolve it, and then you come up with a plan. And I do have a video that I made with one of the survivors in the community that took the time to make a video to help you guys on how to establish a system when you're co-parenting. So be sure to check that out. But you should not have any other lines of communication with not just with narcissists, but with anybody that you dated that turned out to be a traitor. If they cheated on you, they broke your trust, they broke the vows. I swear I don't see why people continue letting traitors back into their life. I don't. That's me. Maybe I'm a hard ass. I don't know. But keeping these people away and closing all lines of communication, it's what has worked for me and has worked for pretty much everyone that I work with on my coaching program. And you read the comments, and the ones that sound the healthiest are the ones that have just stuck to the no contact no matter what. But if you're still trying to get back at them, if you're still trying to get revenge, if you're still trying to egg their house like if it was Halloween in the 90s, then you know what? Then you get what you deserve, right? And you deserve to stay in this misery. I'll happily refund your misery if that's what you want to do, So just know one thing though, that once this is over and they know that and they've just been exhausted. Because let me tell you, when you know this shit, they can't scam you the same way they can scam any other sucker. They just can't. And it's like they lose all of their confidence at that point, and that's when you see the narcissist hit like their own rock bottom, right? They hit that rock bottom, And the person that they become, or the person that's left after that situation, is probably their lowest. They do hit a low point. The narcissist remains in power only when they completely obliterate their prey. And when they leave them feeling like a vegetable, they just discard them and move on to another one, do the same, they groom, move on to another one, move on to another one. Someone just left a comment that I read, and it was funny. It was love bomb, devalue, discard, reload, next. And it's like when they're following that pattern, they're kicking ass, and they keep getting stronger and stronger and stronger. But when they cross paths with someone like me, they lose all of their fucking power, okay? And after that relationship, it's like they've lost that zest that they had, right? You know that zest you saw in their eyes at the beginning of the relationship with you? And you remember when they started pulling away from you and the devaluation started, and you saw something in their eye, like if they were interested in someone else. If you have a strong intuition, you saw that look, only they weren't looking at you anymore. They weren't looking you in the eye. They wouldn't make eye contact with you. They were looking up into space. If you were having sex with them or whatever, now they weren't connecting with you. They were looking off, and you would see this look when they were on their phone. You would see that look when they were on their phone. And that's the same look that you fell in love with at the beginning, right? When this shit falls apart, they're a mess. They're a mess. And yeah, they're going to attract, or not so much attract, but they're going to target low-hanging fruit, okay? That's when you see them, they date a simp, a total loser simp, right? That just throws money at them. They're like, oh my God, I can't believe I have this supermodel looking woman. Is my soulmate, my gift from heaven. They totally lose themselves in that. And it doesn't last. They just wipe the floor with that person, and then they grow in strength. And when the tables are turned, like the guy will go after a girl that just lacks street smarts, right? That's just completely like oblivious to things. Someone that they can manipulate very, very easy with little to no effort. They're not gonna go after someone that's sharp and smart and kicking ass, right? Like when they did with you. They're not gonna go for that, because right now, the way you've left them, they can't conquer that yet. It's like they need to practice some more. They gotta practice on the low-hanging fruit, because the low-hanging fruit is going to offer them unlimited validation. Unlimited validation is what the low-hanging fruit will give them. So narcissists prey on that. That's narcissistic supply. So you stopped validating the narcissist at the end. You started calling them out for what they were. You started gray rocking their shit, right? They couldn't get through you anymore. Some of you discarded the narcissist, right? I dumped my psychopath narcissist, right? I still consider it a discard, technically it wasn't, but the feeling of it felt still like I had reached that end of the phase, obviously. But it sure damn felt good to be the one that terminated it, right? It sure felt good to be the one that said, nah, that's it. You'll never hear from me again. End. When you do that, and congratulations to those that have done that, let me tell you, doing that doesn't mean that you walk out like if you just won the lottery. It doesn't mean that you walk out with all the confidence in the world and you're happy. A lot of times you're still trauma bonded, and you have to go through that. You have to process it. A lot of times you're depressed. A lot of times you're still like, wow, I can't believe I did that. I remember feeling like oh yeah, I'm a fucking ninja. I cut the snake's head off. But that doesn't mean I didn't go through the PTSD for weeks after, especially when I learned that what I was dealing with, right? It's like it came as a shock all of a sudden. But I never went back. You know, I never went back. And no matter what my compromised emotions might have told me or influenced me, it was a non-negotiable. You know, it was just, you know, maybe my pride was a little too, I don't want to say too big, but there was definitely, you have to have a little pride and dignity, guys. You have to have some pride and dignity. You have to have some sort of self-worth. You have to dig deep and find it. You have to find that self-worth and that dignity, all right? Because you just can't keep going back to these scumbags that are abusing you, and they're just making you feel things that your own worst enemy wouldn't make you feel. So rejoice if you catch wind of who your narcissist ex is dating now. If some of your friends decide to gossip and they send you a picture, which, God, man, that's dumb when they do that, you know. But if somehow through the grapevine you discover who they're dating, or you know, whatever, do not be surprised. Do not be surprised if they're dating one ugly motherfucker. All right? Do not be surprised if it's just someone that's way beneath your class level. Rejoice, because it shows who your ex really was. And if anything, it propels you to move forward and not be so hung up on them. When you can look back at your ex with disgust for who they ended up with after, for who they cheated on you with, it's like gross. You went with that. You went with that trash. You went with that bottom feeder. Yuck. Gross. That person stinks. Gross. When you can look back and realize, holy shit, like this is the person that I worshipped, right? This was the person that I was in love with, and blah, 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 blah. And you held them in such high regard, and they did you so dirty. And then that's who they went with, that low-hanging fruit scumbag. Rejoice. That's the universe showing you, hey, this relationship was not for you. Congratulations, you got out. But some of you want to go back in. Some of you still want to go back in. What the hell is wrong with you? Come on. You know? You've seen what you need to see. You've seen it. You want to keep seeing it? It's only going to hurt you more. It's only going to hurt you more. It's going to keep you, it's going to re-trigger, re-traumatize you. Your friends are tired of hearing it. Once you see who they went with, good. They're probably trash. Trash attracts trash. Hey, remember, they're at their lowest at the end of that cycle, especially when you caught up and you gave them hell at the end. It's like they're like the Wizard of Oz, and when you discover that they're not that powerful and they're just a little thing behind the scenes, it's like, oh shit, you saw who I really was. Oh my God. And they scramble. And of course, they're going to jump to some low-hanging fruit. It takes time for them to groom someone awesome. It takes time. And when they lock someone down that's awesome, right, they're still going to self-sabotage it, right? But depending on the severity, of the disorder, depending on how bad they want what you've got, right? And depending on how good they are, and depending on how much you're willing, I don't mean you, I mean the new supply, how much they're willing to put up with, this could go on forever for them. Good. Let them have to handle that shit forever. You're out. You shouldn't be wanting to get back in. Hell no. I got out of my shit and it's like I've never looked back. It's fantastic. So, you know, for those that are upset and they're angry and they're like, oh my God, you should see who they're dating now. I don't need to see. I know. I believe you. I'm sure you're disgusted by it. That's not a reflection on you. That's a reflection on them. All right? Remember that. So that's all I got for today, guys. Again, I hope you guys have an awesome Thanksgiving. If I don't talk to you guys down in the comments or by email, I wish you and your family a great holiday. It's a 4-day weekend for a lot of people. Some of us work, some of us do stuff. So keep your chin up. If you're narc-free this Thanksgiving season, rejoice. It's going to be an incredible, incredible day. I'm very excited. And you know what? If you haven't subscribed to the video, you can subscribe right now by clicking that little bell icon. And oh, I almost forgot. Very important. If you got some value out of the video, drop a like. Drop a like and comment. All right, guys, that's all I got. Enough joking around. I gotta run. My name is Kira. This is Psychopath Exposure, and I'll see you guys soon. Take care of yourselves. Be good. Bye.